Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of FitzRupee Cast featuring DoW2 Retribution. Red-Rupee here, calling the shots for you tonight as always. And we are on Median Cliff Mines once again, which means we've got what looks to be a pretty awesome 2-on-2 match for you. No more one-on-one games from the Come On, Come All tournament. All of that is done with. If you're looking for more of that, I'm sure you can hop over to my Twitch channel where I literally have hours of footage from that tournament. If you're looking for some of the matches that maybe didn't get covered, or there's a matchup that you wanted to see that I didn't get to, you can hop over to GameReplays.org. I believe Paranoid is putting together a nice replay pack for the community that should contain most, if not all, of the replays from the whole tournament. So check that out. Head over to GameReplays.org, and that's about all that I have to say on that subject. Let's go ahead and look at the game at hand. On the blue team, we've got Illethor sporting this nice orange and black Eldar Warlock, and then his teammate Floid, the nastiest Tyrannid, currently playing on the Elite mod as the Ravener Alpha. Then we have on the opposing side Mr. Codex sporting some sweet Dark Angels DLC with the Force Commander, and then his ally Dark Riku as the Apothecary for whatever Space Marine chapter wears black. I don't know anything about Space Marine chapters. Let's get this game rolling. And Codex and Riku probably doing a little practice here for the upcoming 2-on-2 faction battle tournament that's being hosted by Indrid. So if you are unaware of that, be sure to check that out. I think we'll be doing some games this Sunday, and the tournament will progress through the week, I believe, is the plan. We'll start as sort of a round-robin format and take it from there. I believe Indrid will be casting most, if not all, of the games from that lineup. Of course, myself and Steve Bud will be participating in that as a duo, playing the Orc faction. The only real rules of the tournament, I believe, is that your team must play as your specified race for the entirety of the tournament. So we can switch between, Codex can play either Apothecary, Force Commander, or Tech Marine, and as can Riku, but they have to stay Space Marines. Anyways, as the game gets going here, we can see the Warlock got a nice Destructor off nice and quick, but managed to not kill a single scout, so I'm sure he's a little disappointed with that. Meanwhile, Ravener has gotten himself a kill. Apothecary moving in with his Tactical Marines as the Ravener puts on some quick pressure, gets a decap on the natural VP. Red team does have the Force Commander in the center, grabbing that contested VP, and the Termagant's going to head inside of that tunnel for the time being. Attacks do manage to force off the Ravener, but he's going to stay on the field, continue to harass, while the Apothecary is tied up with all these gaunts and gants. Unfortunately, he's going to be finding himself in not the best position. Dark Riku perhaps being a little over-aggressive with that Apothecary. You generally want to keep him with your attacks in these starting engagements. I'm not sure what exactly his plan there was. Maybe he got himself a little overextended. Didn't realize the gaunts had pulled back so far. Codex still battling for this far requisition point. Warlock putting a stop to that right quick, though, with another Destructor, and the Dire Avengers. Banshees moving in with a flank, finding themselves a Force Commander on the other side of the map, but it looks like they're going to move in and start harassing some power. Banshees surprisingly good at bashing power nodes on their own early on. This is kind of a great use for them before you get their aspect upgrade on them. You can get them in on those power nodes, really kind of prevent a lot of damage from going down, and get some good reward for not taking much losses over here. Anyway, still looks like Floyd's keeping the pressure on over here. He does have some Spore Mines on the field as well. That's not uncommon for Floyd to get those early Spore Mines and really be able to push back the opposing forces by keeping them suppressed, or even just having those Spore Mines on the field really makes a huge difference. Warlock's still getting those Destructors down. Of course, they matter a lot more when the Apothecary isn't on the field. You can see these Tactical Marines are going to be coming onto the field with already about 200 or 300 HP down. Another Banshee goes down. Looks like they're going to try to get this, but decide against it. Guardians trying to fire it down, but Scouts actually repairing. Might save Codex 100 requisition there by keeping that generator up. So Banshees managed to get down the power node, didn't get the generator down. In the meantime, Dark Riku up top starting to do a little extermination work. It appears he's got a little infestation on his hands, start going to break down all those tunnels, keep the Ravener at bay. Look at the Spore Mine positioning here, just huddled around this corner, waiting for something to dare to push up on that power farm. Floyd trying to get the best positioning he can for the time being. Ravener going to be so useful in team games, really being able to pop in and out of tunnels. And of course, if Illethar so chooses, he can spend his red to get those warp gates up as well. I feel like both of these armies have the potential to be extremely mobile here as the game progresses. Both Riku and Codex going pretty much straight for the Assault Space Marines, and they can really make a nasty push here if they compile their forces and make a push for a power farm. The instant you get these two squads of Assault Marines out when you're playing Space Marine, you can really just hurt some feelings here. Get both of those assault jumps, and it looks like that's what they're going for too. Codex and Riku now moving in over here, jumping on that tunnel, preventing any further Tyranid reinforcements, and then starting to hack away over here. These Assault Marines need a little more support though. Those Spore Mines managed to stall out just long enough. Looks like the Apothecary managed to get a heal in at crucial timing. Those Assault Marines getting very low, got healed, and still managed to get out of there with very little HP, and all three members standing. Tactical Marines and Assault still hanging out in the center, but it looks like Illethor and Floid are just going to continue to dominate the center of the map. Everything pretty much falling back, trying to make sure no models go down. Banshees again harassing the natural power point over here on Codex's side of the map. Gonna take down at least another generator or two and possibly that node. Scouts are gonna come in to harass a little bit. Codex figures he can get in here to defend it shortly, but wants to drop those generators before the node goes down. He's gonna have to be careful though, because if he doesn't get down here to defend, that's gonna be another 200 requisition just thrown away immediately. Warlock needs to be careful, getting dangerously close to the firing arcs of those base defense turrets. But really just trying to stall and buy time, keep the power down. Illethor already heading into tier 2. Riku and Codex going to be well behind him in that regard. A grenade going down again, not necessarily even to hit anything, but to stall out. There's these great choke points on this map coming out of the base right here, and of course entering the center from all four sides. You have these nice little chokes. Great for grenades, setup teams, all that kind of thing. You can really use that to force the assault teams to jump in wherever you want them to. Scouts moving in, taking lots of fire. Assault jump goes down, and these Marines, without the support of any Apothecary or anything like that, going to be in a lot of trouble. Very fortunate that none of those went down. Wow, a couple Banshees fallen down, deciding they're not too much a fan of getting taken out. Oh, but there's lots of melee in the retreat path. One swing. Let's see if the other one goes down. Swift movement looks like it was activated right there, and Banshee is barely getting out of there. The lone Banshee with no sisters left, returning home. Gonna have to warp in another family, because right now she is a lone sibling. Everyone's heading into tier 2 now except for Codex. We've got a nice little gen bash happening over here, but all of his forces are fairly injured, and Riku's Apothecary is not on this side of the map. He's heading back to the Tyranid power farm. It's unfortunate. I really feel like you can use that Apothecary synergy well. Of course, Space Marines, synergize very well with Space Marines. Grenade going down right there. Assault squads trying to find themselves a nice position to get in on that shuriken, but knowing as low as they are, the Banshees are likely waiting there. A very good choice to just go ahead and fall back. Cut your losses, retreat before you lose anything. Flamers again on this side of the map. Warriors engaging them, trying to make sure, completely ignoring the Apothecary and his Assault Marines, just want to get those attacks out of there. So long as those Flamers are gone, this gen farm will be safe, and that's really all you're worried about at this point in the game. Keep that tech going, keep the gens up. VPs are in the blue team's favor by about 100 VPs at this point. Only lost 16 of their own so far. Has the red team just under 400. Assault Space Marines and the Apothecary are going to try to get this gen bash over here. Another tunnel going up on the far side, which might be potentially great for a flank here. Codex finally heading into tier 2. He's going to be the last player hitting that. And Illethor sitting on quite a bit of resource. Wonder what he's going to go for. Probably holding out here for perhaps a Wraith Lord, something along those lines. Get that quick walker out before Codex hits tier 2 and has much of a counter for it. Looks like we've got the Dire Avengers moving into the retreat path here for the Assault Space Marines. Will we see a retreat grenade? It looks like probably not. They canceled that. I saw the energy spike down for just a moment, but it got canceled. He decided probably wasn't going to take a model out. But still, I guess against the Apothecary, try to make him waste those heals. Try to keep those Space Marines in base. 3-0 kept for the blue team. And we've got a Plasma Devastator coming out for Dark Riku. And then Codex moving in with all these Dark Angels heading straight for the power farm of the Eldar player, and he's just going to have no response. There's a Flamer on that tack squad. It looks like we might just have a gen farm trade. Warlock upgraded with the Witchblade of Kurnos, which is actually his only power melee weapon. I know I always say that the Merciless Witchblade is a power melee weapon, but it actually just does lots of melee damage, as everyone always corrects me every time I say it. Really, he needs to recognize that he's probably not going to be able to stop this gen bash. It's kind of, I feel like, a bad choice that he pulled the Banshees back from taking out that gen farm over here. Probably should have just pushed when he had the opportunity. On the other side of the map, we've got Tyranids and Space Marines engaging once again. Gene Stealer's coming on the field for Floyd, who's already got some Adrenal Gland Warriors out here. Banshees screaming on this side of the map, but I don't think they're going to be able to deal with this threat on their own. Force Commander charging right through with that battle cry, upgraded with both his Power Sword and Armor of Alacrity. Banshee's getting shredded once again, and the Exarch's escaping just barely. I'm not sure if any of her sisters, again, it looks like there may be, yes, a lone Banshee returning home. Very unfortunate over here for Mr. Illethor, who's sitting on just boards of requisition and resource right now. Gene Stealers and the Adrenal Gland Warriors look like they've managed to push back Dark Riku's forces, and Illethor really needs to get another squad or two on the field. It looks like he's trying to play a harassment game and really just try to do some good stuff on that side without any direct engagements. It was really a poor choice for him to not just take out this gen farm and instead try to engage the Space Marine threat. Looks like the Plasma Devastator got a nice connection right there, probably saving the lives of those scout squads. Here comes another shot right into the melee pile. Some Tyranid bits go everywhere, but the Gene Stealers are quickly moving in to absolve that threat, take it off of the map, and Dark Riku's moving in once again with the Apothecary and Assault Space Marine. Pretty heavy melee threat on the field here right now, though. Assault Marines jumping once again. We see the Capillary Tower launching up here with the Tyranid Infestation Global. And it looks like Riku just decides to back off for the time being. Doesn't want to push too far, just wants to make sure he can hold that power farm. Illethor going into Tier 3. I feel like I've seen this more and more from Eldar players in team games, just skipping Tier 2 and going straight for the Tier 3 tech. He doesn't have necessarily the power he needs for an avatar, though. He lost that gen farm down here, so that's going to really delay any Tier 3 tech. I think he probably should have gone for something like a Walker, gotten a Wraith Lord on the field, something else to aid him at this point in the game, because the Space Marines are starting to be a pretty real threat from Codex. Right now we've got a big melee charge coming in, a nice Merciless Strike there. Probably going to be able to take out these Hormagaunts, but the melee of all these Tyranid forces easily pushing off Dark Riku's remaining Space Marines.
Tell me quickly what you wish.
Warlock defiantly just charging into the ranks over here against Codex, just stalling out a little bit, trying to buy some time for whatever he so chooses to bring out here in Tier 3. Again, he's going to have to wait another minute or so before he brings anything Tier 3 onto the field. Doesn't have too much out here right now. But right now, Floyd has a really fierce force to deal with. If you can slow it down, you're fine, but if you can't, you just need to instantly retreat against this sort of melee power. Upon seeing the Dreadnought, speaking of retreating as soon as you spot it, full retreat from Floyd. Gonna go ahead and just get the heck off of that map. Down bottom we can see that Illethor just does not have the number of squads he needs to deal with the Space Marine army. He's got Banshees, sure, he's got a Shuriken, but he needs to get the Warlock and Banshees together, minimum, to deal with these Assault Space Marines and get the Force Commander out of this game. Got Venom Broods coming on for Floyd. That's going to be another squad of warriors helping deal with that Dreadnought. Combined with the Adrenal Gland Warrior Broods, he should be able to deal with that Dreadnought fairly easily, so long as he can keep the Assault Space Marines and the Apothecary at bay. Warlock taking tons of fire, not been getting any of his tankier upgrades. Drops a Merciless Strike right there. Or, sorry, an Ethereal Strike, or Slash, whatever the hell that ability is called, but dies in the process. Banshee's taking an actual Merciless Strike. Force Commander getting a little too ballsy there, trying to get in and get a couple extra kills. He has to fall back. Scouts taking lots of fire in the meantime, and the Assault Space Marines in a bad spot as well. They don't have a jump. These Dire Avengers just a couple moments away from getting a grenade off, but those Assault Marines are going to be able to get out from under the suppression before it goes down. Down on this side of the map, man, that Dreadnought getting perilously low. Looks like those Venom Cannons and Adrenal Gland Warriors did a real number on it. Codex looked like he was going for a Dreadnought, decided to cancel it, instead going for a Librarian, and Illethor finally getting a little payoff from his Tier 3 tech. Going to be bringing a Fire Prism out here shortly, and he's going to have to play that very carefully, but I think if he does it right, that Fire Prism can really have some huge impact at this point in the game. Ravner moving in to melee that lone Plasma Devastator. That was a nice little kind of passive flank over here. Riku moved in from this side, had the Plasma Devastator sitting over here, just launching shots into those Venom Cannon Warriors and the Power Farm over here. Space Marines been doing a good job of keeping constant pressure up on the Power Farms. The blue team did a good initial gen bash, but since then have not really been able to get a constant, solid pressure on that side of the map. The submarines jump in might have been a little much though, because the entirety of the Tyranid swarm is over here. They do decide to jump out. Looks like one final model actually dies mid-jump. Another one falls as the Gene Stealers move in and the Tyranids fall back at the sight of the Assault Cannon Dreadnought. With all this Tyranid heavy melee, I feel like the Assault Cannon is probably an excellent choice for Dark Riku. Right now we see the Fire Prism coming out here. Shouldn't be focusing on the Force Commander though. Needs to be hitting these blobs of Space Marine troops really for maximum damage. Ooh, we see right there a canceled shot unfortunately from the Fire Prism. With the increased rotation of vehicles, the turrets on some of these have actually kind of been canceling their shots, especially the Fire Prism, which has a longer charge up animation. But being a kind of artillery tank, you really don't want it to be maneuvering in battle and flying all over the place when it's engaged anyways. Here comes a huge flank from Floyd over here. Lots of Tyranids coming in from the opposing side, and this could be a huge problem right now for Codex. He needs to get the heck out there. There's lots of melee here. It looks like he's trying to move so that he can get the correct retreat path, not have to go through all those Tyranids. He managed to do so with everything but his Assault Space Marines, which looks like they got through relatively unscathed, but an excellent play there. Floyd supporting his teammate Illethor now at least has a Fire Prism on the field, but you can see already in a dire straits from taking a Melt-A-Bomb, and I think that those, Tactical Marines do have a missile launcher equipped already. Full auto going down, knocking down both of the blue heroes, but a very nice Plasma Devastator shot right into the middle of those Gene Stealers. Managed to tank out a single model, and now with this Assault Cannon coming in, gonna start picking off more, even with that life drain. It's going to be hard for them to stay on the field at this stage. Warriors taking lots of damage. Going to have to be very careful. Don't want one of those to pop in the middle of all these Gaunt squads. We're seeing this Dreadnought still pouring fire in such a powerful ranged platform. Very difficult to force off when you're sitting that far back. You really don't have to fall back too much. We've got a long-range shot coming in from that Fire Prism. Fire Prism probably needs to hang back a little bit more, though. If those assaults get off a Melt-A-Bomb at this point, that thing's going to go down, and all that your early Tier 3 tech is going to be for naught. Illethor still sitting with lots of requisition and power. I guess at this point he's probably saving up for something else big Tier 3 because he's not chosen to get himself a Wraith Lord. Here goes the Melt-A-Bomb, and that might be it. Fire Prism with only 120 HP left, and down it goes. Big loss there for Illethor, down to 3 squads once again. Banshees probably should have been hanging back, supporting that Shuriken cannon weapon team. Instead, they were moving up. You really kind of want to play that defensively when you know Assault Marines are on the field, especially since the Warlock was already retreating. You need a melee counter to deal with that. Meanwhile, Floyd scaring off some Tactical Marines that got yet another gen bash in over here. Red team really managing to keep the pressure on. Just using the Tactical Marines constantly to push in with flamers or rocket launchers on the gen farms. They have enough other forces here, the Assault Space Marines, Librarian, etc., especially with this Dreadnought on Dark Riku's side, that they can really afford to not have the tax on the front line with those flamers. Distract the main forces and hit the gen farm. 335 to 199 though, and the blue team, despite I feel like maybe losing some of these kind of mid-game engagements, keeping a solid grasp on the VP edge, solidly staying ahead by about 100 VPs. Venom Cannon Warrior Brute goes down right there, knocking over all the Termagants, buying a little time for the Space Marines to move in. Huge hit from the Plasma Devastator, and another nice Merciless Strike. But Floyd has a pretty sweet setup here. The great thing about this Gene Stealer Adrenal Gland build right now that he's got going on is that he can kind of really push in on these forces, scare them off without taking too much damage. But of course, with that Assault Cannon Dreadnought back there, it's not really too afraid, doesn't have to panic and hit that retreat button like Tax or Assault Marines do when all that melee gets on top of them. Dark Riku taking back his natural point. Hormagaun's getting out from under that jump and finding themselves in a tricky position. Don't want to be fighting those Stern Guards with those Dragonfire rounds. You can see a couple models do go down there for that damage over time. It's so very powerful on retreat. Warlock trying to get around to knock over this Plasma Devastator, realizing though that he's a bit out of position since the Force Commander managed to teleport in on that heavy weapons team. Illethor does have the Avatar coming out here, which can certainly have another huge impact so long as he's not careless with it like he was with that Fire Prism. Fire Prism probably not the best idea. Tanks in general you don't really want to have on the field unless you have plenty of forces to support it, and Illethor only had a couple real attack squads to do so. That Fire Prism was easily singled out. It's such a high value target that your enemy's obviously going to go right for it, and if you bring it out without any support, it's really going to cost you. Tanks in general in this game are more of a force multiplier than, you know, anything, so if you don't have much forces in general, you're really not going to be adding much to send out a lone tank. Ooh, big hit there, losing another squad once again. Illethar down to just a squad of Dire Avengers and Banshees to Codex's full army over here. That's going to be very difficult to take down. Up top, we have another push going in on this Dreadnought. Adrenal Gland Warriors and those Gene Stealers now upgraded with their Rending Claws, I believe it is. I think that's the name of it. Yes. Doing some serious damage to that Assault Cannon. Unfortunately, not much in the ways of ranged anti-vehicle. Those Venom Cannons not going to be enough. Gene Stealers need to get the heck out! They are probably opposed to being blasted apart by a Predator, so they decided to head on home. At least one of them did, had the common sense to do so. And then the Venom Cannon deciding probably a good time to fall back themselves. Illethar getting Rangers in Tier 3. Not a good move, I feel like. Not at this point. Again, Rangers, a squad that needs some solid support. He needs at least a Guardian Weapons team before he gets Rangers out onto the field. And I feel like at this point, with all of these leveled up Space Marine squads, level 3, let's see, level 1, level 2. Yeah, I mean, you just don't really want that, oof, big Wailing Doom. You don't want those Rangers out there exposed to all of this big nasty Space Marine stuff. And with those Space Marines leveled up, they're not going to be dropping models nearly as quickly as you would like since they're not leveled up themselves. Warlock, as we can see, been upgraded with Providence and the Warp Throw, so we're going to see probably Warp Throw into Wailing Doom. We're going to be seeing lots of Ethereal Slashes. Scouts sneaking around, trying to get some VP decaps over here, trying to close that gap, because if they continue to stay behind by 100 VPs, this game is going to end pretty shortly. 273 to 146 right now. Grenade going down, missing the scouts on the far side of the map. Looks like the natural VP of Illethor going to get decapped here. There goes the Rangers, and again, see, they just hit that scout Sarge leading the way. Don't even manage to get a kill. It's going to be very difficult for them to make their worth at this stage in the game. Probably should have gotten another setup team, maybe a decanter or something at this point if he's playing the support role. Floyd has a really excellent front line for his Tyranids right now, so if he can manage to get more of a support role. Excellent Warp Throw! Sending those Scouts and Librarian right into the midst of the Tyranid swarm, getting ripped apart and annihilated in the blink of an eye. Those Scouts went down. Oh my gosh, did they not go down? Yes, they did. I was about to say, the unit icon managed to stay on the field for just a second. I thought they somehow stayed alive, but did not. Riku now moving his vehicles over to this side of the map, and with both an Assault Cannon Dreadnought and a Predator, that's a really difficult vehicle line to break right there. That's going to be tons of range damage, whereas Floyd has primarily a melee DPS force. So he's going to have to be very careful with how he approaches this threat. But they are moving in. Gene Stealers and the Adrenal Gland Warriors now putting some pressure on that Predator. But a beautiful point-blank Assault Cannon Barrage makes short work of those. Oh my gosh, did the Gene Stealers just go down? Yes, they did. Huge loss, along with the Hormas going down somewhere on the map. I'm not sure quite where that was. That may have been a little while ago. Lost track of that. All these bugs look the same to me. And wow, Space Marines coming out with a vengeance. Providence must be on cooldown because he just dropped an Ethereal Slash instead. Rangers, I don't know where the heck they're going. They decide that that is not the best move. A little bit of a bad engagement there for the blue team. Lost Gene Stealers. Nearly lost the Banshees. Oh, they do lose the Banshees. Huge loss right there. Illethor not doing too well at all. Big turnaround here from the Reds in this particular engagement. Wow, a couple severe victories. Ravner goes down as well, and just Assault Marines jumping all over the place. This is exactly what you want to see from a Space Marine push. You've got Assault Marines jumping all over the place, causing havoc. You've got two heavy vehicles just pouring out DPS along with a squad of Tactical Marines and Stern Guards. Unfortunately, that Pred kind of clogging up the works here, preventing those tanks from getting in any further on that Avatar. Looks like it's going to make its way home. The blue team has a little bit of time to bring this back, but man, this is going to be just, I mean, this line right here, a very redoubtable Space Marine force, going to be a difficult front line to break at all. Carnifex is coming out here. I really hope he goes for the Venom Cannon instead of the usual Thornback. I feel like Floyd knows what he's doing with Tyranids, though. He's not going to just go for the Thornback spam like we often see Tyranid players do when they get those Carnifexes on the field. 221 to 138, and 2-1 cap for the red team. And this is a lot of Space Marines, man. Along with these two vehicles, I keep saying, you know, a Las Pred and an Assault Cannon Dreadnought, that's going to be difficult to break. Venom Cannon putting some more pressure on the power farm, but Codex and Riku have plenty of power, plenty of requisition, and plenty of red to spare. Dark Riku almost maxed out, actually. I'm sure we're going to be seeing some Terminators here shortly, and that's going to make it even more of a beefy front line from this Space Marine army. Blue team's doing a good job, though, of at least trying to hold these VPs, trying to buy themselves some more time to get back in this game. There is an Avatar out, there is a Carnifex out, which, yes, is in fact upgraded with the Venom Cannon now. So gonna be some major threats to these vehicles for the time being. Illethor probably really needs to get himself, I've said it before, probably a Guardian Weapons team at this point, to do something, at least try to control those Assault Space Marines, because if there's no team for them to jump on, they're gonna jump wherever they want. And even though saying, oh, well, if I get an Assault team, then they're just gonna jump on it and counter it. But honestly, that is one more thing that you can predict. You can say, all right, they're going to jump in here, so I can be prepared for that. He probably needs to bring some Banshees back, honestly. Oh, but he's going for a Seer Council. That's interesting. And we do have some Assault Terminators on the field from Codex right now. Let's see what we're looking at. Dark Riku actually maxed out, so he's not going to be able to bring anything else onto the field, really. Probably does have his squads pretty well beefed up at this point. But both players now looking pretty much maxed out, and you can see the difference in army size. The red team clearly has the advantage and has some pretty serious tech as well. Assault Terminators with Lightning Claws, Las Preds, all the nasty stuff you really don't want to be seeing late game from Space Marine is already on the field. And Floyd is going to have a hard time dealing with it. Riku just answered very perfectly to the Gene Stealer and Adrenaline Warrior Brood threat. Got some very nice range damage output. Beautiful Assault Cannon barrage right there, almost completely giving a Termagant Brood. And you can see he's not even worried about that Predator getting perilously low. Oh my goodness. Here goes an orbital bombardment though. Last Predator pays the price, but this Carnifex might not be getting out of it either. Big beams coming down from the sky, raining death upon the Tyranid swarm. I'm sure those Termagants are gonna go down. Yes, they do. Ravener goes down as well, along with the Capillary Tower, and a beautiful nuke there from Mr. Dark Riku. Still, though, after all that, ends up with 620 red. Looks like we finally got a beautiful push here from Illethor while that battle was going on down on that side of the map. Assault Space Marines look like they got torn up by the Avatar and the Seer Council right here. Looks like we probably have some more Terminators coming out here, though, and that's going to be more bad news for the red team, or sorry, for the blue team. Scouts coming out for Codex. He did lose his scouts. He wants something out here to help be able to support this Predator. Nice use of the hollow field from those Rangers. Still using attack ground. Nice use of Wailing Doom, getting those Terminators off the field. Angels of Death going down. Riku realizing he has so much red, time to start using it, and really going to be able to hold indefinitely against this Tyranid threat. Tyranniform went down, but unfortunately the way it's designed right now, it's supposed to help assist with a huge Tyranid push. It of course does damage as well, but it does some excellent buffs against all the Tyranid forces. Grenade going down right in the middle of everything. Doesn't really do too much damage though, and the decap's going to come down anyways. Illithor now getting himself a D-cannon on the field, but this Space Marine line refuses to break. This Venom Cannon Carnifex really needs to get in here and take out that other Predator while he has the opportunity to do so. But man, with two squads of Terminators, Predator on the field, all that nasty stuff, I'd just say it's not looking too good for the blue team at the time being. Down goes the Carnifex. That's going to be a huge loss. All these Capillary Towers down here did not assist in keeping that thing alive. Floyd is not happy with that loss, and rightfully so. That thing was probably one of his last hopes to stay in this game. I think without that Carnifex, these vehicles are going to be nigh on impossible to take out. Really a great combination of different units on the field right now. So many huge threats. Terminators, Assault Space Marines, Predator, Dreadnought, even the Plasma Dev in the back here at this point. Level 3 going to be doing crazy, crazy damage. Look at that Ranger shot. Just isn't doing anything to level 4 attacks. Really, unfortunately, I feel like a poor purchase from Illethor. Nice use again of the Hollow Field. Oh man, Riku's not going to have it though. Just going to ground fire with that Plasma Devastator. Start tearing up those poor dire Avengers. D-Cannon realizing it's finding itself a bit too close to the action. Here comes a Wailing Doom, but nicely dodged by Codex as Floyd is coming in from the western part of the map. This Avatar trying to do everything it can as the Seer Council starts hacking away into these tactical Marines. Nice Wrath of Cain knocking Assault Space Marines all over the place. Ooh, and we have the premiere of the Doom of Malantai over here. You can see him using his abilities on the top part of the engagement right there. Avatar currently in a lot of trouble though, taking fire from tanks, Lightning Claw Terminators, and Doom of Malantai getting perilously low as it narrowly escapes death. Floyd has the fallback. Avatar has to get the heck out of there with these Veil of Time Terminators slowly moving in. And slowly is a relative term when you have Terminators with Veil of Time. The Rangers just, unfortunately, not justifying their cost at all. Grenade goes down, whiffs unfortunately. Terminator's going to try to keep the pressure on, decide to teleport back at the last possible second. However, the Seer Council, with swift movement activated, probably going to be able to take out that Force Commander and do some serious damage to these Lightning Claw Terminators as well. Although I think with the support of the Librarian, Tax, and that Predator, you can see Terminators make short work of that Seer Council. However, Floyd does have a lot on the field right now. Doom of Malantai up here dropping some more abilities on the field, doing crazy damage. Look, 2 Terminators fall right there, trying to get that last one. Librarian stalling as long as he can. I'm not sure if those Terminators are going to go down or not. Predator in a lot of trouble also. Ravener just needs to get one more volley off on that thing. But it looks like both the Terminators and the Predator are going to live to fight another day. 56-88, and the red teams managed to bring it back into the game here. Warlock dead way back on enemy lines there. Not going to work out too well. Ravener was looking to see if that Predator had maybe been left a little exposed, but of course the Dreadnought sitting at full HP, sitting at level 4, maxed out Assault Cannon Dreadnought. Man, that is some nasty damage. Blue team really needs to get out here quickly, or it's going to be very, very done. Termagant's down here. Captain Force Commander just looking for trouble on his own. Got his Power Fist teleporter pack. Another Carmen Effects coming out on the field for Floyd, but they're going to need to hold on for a little bit longer if that thing's going to hit the field and have any sort of impact. Force Commander just bashing away at Gaunts here, spotting that Seer Council, decides to get the heck out of there. Had bad memories of the last time that happened. Another nice Wailing Doom activating. Man, I love Wailing Doom. Oh, it's just so beautiful. Poor Plasma Dev turned into bits right there. Predator in a lot of trouble. Warlock actually taking damage despite having Providence down. I don't know what's going on right there. Went down pretty quickly. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Just don't know what happened there. Went for the cap. It is 8-88. And the VPs are neutral. Unfortunately, I just don't think the blue team is going to have what they need. You can just see by the army size right here. Look at all this level 4. This is exactly what you don't want to see against Space Marine. Floyd calling out to his teammate to cap, but really, how are you going to cap under this kind of fire? Once the top cap goes down, nice use again. We're seeing the Ranger Hollow Field put to a lot of use, but I just don't think it's going to matter. Seer Council hacking up some scouts, but as soon as those Assault Space Marines cap on the top, it's not going to make a difference. Oh, but we see they did manage to get the decap in the middle and stall this game out a little bit more. Doom of Malantai out here. Carnifex up here with the Thornback this time. Seeing some life drain go down once again. That actually makes a pretty huge difference. Wow, look at it eat through those Terminators. Apothecary heal goes down, but it doesn't ultimately matter. Ravener trying to go for the suicide cap here, taking tons of fire. Going down to a combination of Smite and a Predator autocannon shot right there. I don't think they're going to be able to hold for much longer. Doing everything they can. Floyd's just throwing every last bit he has. Doom goes down. Venom Cannon Warriors are going down. And this is just going to be the last hurrah for the blue team. Red's really finishing out here with a little bravura. managing to show really what the final end game for Space Marine is supposed to look like. That's why you got to keep that power down, got to keep those gen bashes going, really have to try to get a squad or two, but if the Space Marines are playing it right, it's going to be very difficult to do so. Codex and Dark Riku make, from what we've seen, a very nasty team, and it's going to be a rough fight for anyone who's battling them in that 2-on-2 faction battle tournament. The game is still not over, though. It looks like the Blues are going to fight it out to the bitter end, going to try to get these Terminators off of the point. It's been sitting at 8 to 87 now for quite some time. I thought it was over a while ago, but they managed to get the decap in the center. And the D-cannon is still blasting away here as Floyd's slowly moving back up. Floyd pretty much threw everything away in that last engagement. I think he kind of figured it was over. But it looks like Illethor at this point finally making some huge dents in this Space Marine force. But it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get those Terminators off. Wailing Doom goes down, manages to stall it out for just a second more. Another decap on this side of the map. Starts ticking down the VPs for the Reds once again. Two Predators still sitting in the middle along with this indomitable Dreadnought that's just been tearing up. Man, I'd like to see the number of kills that thing has. Force Commander moving in on the D-cannon, which has just been blasting away at the Space Marine forces. Seer Council getting very low, finally falling back, and it looks like the Cap's finally going to go down and close this game out from those Lightning Claw Terminators. Got briefly knocked off, but as we can see, the game is done. Red Team does take it. And what some beautiful play from those Space Marine players. Codex and Riku, both top-notch players. Floid and Illethor just didn't quite manage to keep up, made a few minor mistakes there at the end, and of course Floyd, in that second-to-last engagement, dropped the GG, kind of just threw his army in. Saw the Doom actually do some pretty heavy damage while it was on the field. Unfortunately, it was a very late game, so we didn't get to see its influence too much. But wow, really great play from Codex and Riku. Illethor, I think, really kind of showcasing why the fast tech to tier 3 doesn't always work out too well. Because even if you do get that fast tech to tier 3, you need to hold that power farm going into tier 3, or you're not going to be able to bring out that avatar quickly. He brought out the Fire Prism, but as we saw, it was just easily sniped and assassinated by the Assault Space Marines, the Tacticals, the Force Commander. When you have a tank on the field without much support, they're just quite easy to finish off on their own. But man, what a game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This is Red-Rupee. Feel free to comment, subscribe, like the video, share with your friends. I always appreciate it. And I will be catching you guys next time.